Since the beginning of time, there has always been those who pushed the boundaries. And since the first group of these individuals have existed, they have stood out amongst those around them. The type of men and women who simply cannot function under the bounds of fashion constraints of their time. Those who must step outside the realm of dress code and bask in exuberance. And you may ask, what exactly is the purpose of your overly pretentious monologue? Well, I am one such people. You can call me a fashionista. Like, I have pretty much done no sewing projects, or at least I haven't really recorded them if I have. So I'm back on YouTube making YouTube videos. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Now, I remember when I said that, I kind of got a little busy and a bunch of other stuff happened and I got into uni, so now I'm here. Hi! But seriously, thank you to all the people who continue to watch my content. It really means a lot to me that I seem to have a lot of people who really genuinely enjoy my content. So that makes me really happy and makes me want to continue making videos. So thank you. So this video I actually filmed almost a year ago. This was the dress I wore to the Barbie movie on opening day. That was back in 2023. In about 2 weeks, it had been a year since I made this video. That's crazy. I am the leader of the procrastination. I cannot believe it's been almost a year, but do you remember when everything and everyone was collaborating with Barbie? My boyfriend at the time surprised me with the Barbie varsity jacket because I would not stop talking about it. The one from Hot Topic. I still have that thing. I still love it. I had the Barbie face mask that I bought from Miniso. I also bought Barbie band-aids from Miniso, as you can see here, and the band-aids are right here actually. I was feeling the Barbie craze back then. The entire year, I was so excited to go see the movie. I also went to World of Barbie earlier that year in January. And I do have a video coming out about that too, because like I said, procrastination. But I was definitely feeling the Barbie fantasy the entire year. I made it a point that I wanted to be the best dressed person at the theater that day. And the landmark next to my house is so packed. It was packed for the Barbie movie, and I had to beat every person in there and win the best dress. It was not a competition. I made it a competition. So without further ado, let me take you into the making process or remaking process of this Barbie dress. Now, I'd actually already made this dress before, like a year prior. It was to wear to my Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend performance. I don't know why I blanked on that for a second. As you can see, I have a little obsession with Marilyn Monroe and old vintage movie stars. So I performed Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend for one of my school talent shows, or I think it was like a spring music showcase. It was really fun. But I was procrastinating that dress too, because I ended up having to miss that day of school to finish the dresses for the performance, which I actually don't regret because, come on, this performance is so iconic. But the dress was just not what I imagined it would be. There's a bunch of things that weren't right with it. It wasn't fitting right. I wanted to add more stuff I didn't get to, so I figured if I redid it, I would be finishing an old project and also be the best dressed at the opening for Barbie. It was a very rough shape dress though, like Cinderella's dress before the mice fixed it. You know what I mean? It was very much a fixer-upper, so there was a few things that I wanted to redo and add to the dress. I really wanted to go for a holiday Barbie look. It wasn't necessarily inspired by any specific holiday Barbie dress, but it was more inspired by the glitz and glam over the topness of holiday Barbie dresses. I really wanted it to look like you could pluck me out of a box. That's why I added a lot of accessories and things that you would normally find with a Barbie. So I really wanted to incorporate that into the design process. The first thing I wanted to do was make the waist more snatched. The waist, I think, was secured by safety pins on the day of the actual performance, and so was the top of the dress because it kept falling down. I think you can actually see at one point I actually pull up the dress in my performance. So I wanted to fix the top of the dress by adding a band to secure it at the top and add more fabric so it would cover my cleavage, as well as taking in some of the extra fabric at the waist. Also, my original design for the Marilyn Monroe dress was to have an extra panel of fabric at the back to add more volume and make it longer, which I didn't get to do for the performance, but I figured it would be a perfect time since I'm redoing the dress to add an extra panel at the back to add that volume. I also added horsehair into the ruffles at the bottom, and for addition, I wanted to add 2 big bows, have one at my hip that looked like it was sort of tied around the dress and draped at my hip, and I also added a cape and gloves as an accessory to my doll. Marilyn Monroe didn't actually have the sash on her original gown, but I just think it's so cute, the idea of someone tying a little bow on the side of the dress. I think that's adorable. Because Holiday Barbie is also released in the winter, I thought that it was kind of cute to have a cape as well. It would be something she could wear, theoretically, in the winter. So I gave the cape a furry trim as well to match the furry white gloves. Now, the first order of business was to put the dress back on and make some alterations and change the pattern. I honestly don't even know what I was thinking like 2 years ago when I made it. And I remember being perplexed even a year ago when I was re-altering this. I was like, why did I do that? Like, why did I pattern it like that? That's a really stupid way to do that. And it's honestly kind of embarrassing to see how I made stuff back in the day and people still thought, oh my god, you're amazing. And I'm like, no, this is actually a really bad dress. But I guess in hindsight, that means that I'm improving at my craft when I notice these things and when I become critical of my old work. But it's just so strange to look back and see, wow, that was a decision that I made. Like, for example, I overextended the hips way too much. I think I was trying to give the illusion of like having big hips, and I actually did wear hip pads for this performance, but the hip pads were way too big and exaggerated. I think I actually ended up taking them out anyway before the performance, so I didn't even use them. But I patterned it so I would have like extra space for the hip pads, but they were way too big, the hip pads. I was going for some like Jessica Rabbit type stuff, and it wasn't pretty. Like, now I know that the hips were way too big in proportion to my height, so they just made me look like a stump, but back then I guess I wasn't really paying attention. Like I said, I also added a strap to the top of it to further replicate Marilyn's gown. I essentially performed like excess skin removal surgery on my dress because if you see at the back, it just looks so baggy and awful. I don't know why I added so much extra fabric or why I couldn't pattern this correctly, but this just looked terrible. So that was another thing on my list, was to remove the excess fabric and try to fix the pattern. It was sitting so strangely on my butt. I did have some extra fabric from originally making the Marilyn Monroe dress. I didn't have very much of this fabric, and by the time I had went back to add alterations to this dress, the fabric had like doubled in price, so I wasn't gonna buy more. So I had to work with what I had. The cape pattern was a half circle skirt, and I cut out a strip at the bottom that was about 10 or 15 centimeters. This was what I used for the sash, because I wanted the sash to be cut on a curve, but I didn't really have enough fabric to do that separately, so I just cut some extra off the cape. I also wanted the sash to be cut on a curve because I wanted it to lay flat against the dress and swoop downwards, which I could manipulate a straight piece of fabric to do so, but not in the way that obviously you see in the final product. which I prefer the look of. I ended up getting some white fleece from my local fabric line, which is closed now. I'm so sad. So many things have happened since I finished making this dress. Like, the fabric line that I bought this fabric at is closed now, and I'm so disappointed. The diameter of the fleece was about 10 centimeters, my favorite number apparently. I turned over the top side and stitched it to the cape by hand because, one, sewing a curved edge is such a nightmare, and two, I just think it would look terrible on my if I did it on my sewing machine. So I just showed it by hand, which took extra time, obviously, which I didn't have because procrastination, but it looked a lot better. So the cape is strictly for fashion, by the way. It's not warm at all. I could call that a flaw, but I mean, who needs warmth when you're made of plastic? Do you have any idea of all the things I got up to as a child? My Barbie dolls are still intact. Nothing is going to affect them. To make the glove pattern, I made it out of the same fleece. Fleece actually had quite a bit of give to it, and I'm really happy that that was the case. I overestimated my ability to make a form-fitting glove, I'm not going to lie. But luckily I didn't have to. I actually couldn't really find a good glove pattern online, so I just took apart one of my old gloves that was kind of in rough shape. But I had trouble patterning that onto the fabric, so I ended up just tracing my own hand. Any seamstress knows that making gloves is a process. It's like going through surgery. It's not fun, but some surgeries are more fun than others, and making gloves out of fleece that's stretchy is not as bad. It's horribly tedious though. Like, you have to go around all the little fingers and all the little grooves, and it just sucks to make gloves, especially on a sewing machine. And attaching the thumb, just, ugh, I don't even know how people make form-fitting gloves. I'm horrible at it. Now for the exciting part, the big fat bows. I cannot remember for the life of me what exactly the measurements were, but I'm pretty sure that the big bow at my waist was 30 centimeters tall and 40 centimeters across. I will link the video of the method I used to make bows in the description. I didn't invent the method, but I use it every single time I make bows. Since it's not really my innovation, I feel like I shouldn't be sharing it and just direct you to the video that I did watch, which I think is very helpful. The bows were actually quite chunky because I did add lining to the inside of them just to make them more Barbie plastic looking-y. Not a word, but you know what I'm trying to say. So they ended up being very chunky and hard to sew up and add the band around the middle. But once I did and I put them on, oh my gosh, the dress came together. I was reeling for like 10 minutes, and that's not good because I'm pretty sure we were in a rush.
Look
at how pretty it is!
It is gorgeous,
It's
darling.
gorgeous!
Gorgeous.
Gorgeous!
Yes.
We're definitely behind schedule because my ex-boyfriend was there already. So that must mean we're supposed to be heading out soon. You could tell he was frustrated, but honestly, how frustrated can you be when your girlfriend looks like that? And justify the means. We ended up having to take an Uber to the theater instead of taking the bus, but we did make it. And here is the final reveal, you guys. I loved it so much.
She my best friend in the whole world. On the mood board, she's the inspo. And she dressed in really cute clothes. Kawaii like we're in Tokyo. Beverly smile, teeth the white robe. Got a classic real deep Van Gogh. She got loyalty, she says I love you girl. I love her more.
That is the end of the video. I hope you guys liked it. I hope you guys liked the dress. If you don't tell me. I love vintage fashion, and this is very much giving vintage fashion, and I think it's giving the holiday Barbie feel that I wanted it to give. I mean, it doesn't really make much sense that I'm wearing it in the middle of summer, but a lot of things don't make sense in the Barbie world. It's fine. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. New videos are coming. I know I said that last time, but I'm really trying this time, okay? So stay tuned, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!